Well, hello and welcome to another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop. It's time for a workshop catch-up with Craig. It should be called a Craig-up now, shouldn't it? You're hiding behind the seat. We've got an Aston Martin seat. This is out of a DB24, and a bit of an interesting condition, I think it's fair to say. And this is the original leather from 1958, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And this would be Connolly Vomol, and we, thanks to Jonathan Connolly, we have been able to, through the original factory build sheet, he very kindly gave me these large swatches of Connolly leather. That is it, VM3099 Magnolia. So this has lost its colour a bit, but Magnolia is a very vibrant cream, which was the beloved of British Ferrari buyers in the 1980s. 328 GTS's, Testarossas, a lot were red with mag. And in fact, the Germans, hardly any Germans bought Ferraris with Magnolia interiors. They preferred the black. So there you are. You can tell a Ferrari's original country of origin almost by its colour. So we're going to be doing. We're just about to order the hides for that. Full retrim. Yeah, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
We've got some wool cloth coming for the headline.
Yes.
And some beautiful. This is vegetable tanned, hand dyed leather, unskived, which means it's the original thickness. It's not put in a machine and stretched. And we're looking at steering wheels because you've been busying yourself with steering wheels, haven't you?
This is steering wheel off a Ferrari Dino. It's broken there.
Right.
So, and the customer wants me to try and save the leather if need be. So we've got to take the leather off. We've got to fix that. I don't think we'll be able to say. I'll see what it comes off like, but I don't think so. But the interesting thing is, usually, it's a strip of leather, and you sew it, and then it becomes sort of a hoop.
Yes.
You sew it together. Now on that, as we can see, only just. That's where the join is. It's almost invisible. So it's two pieces of leather glued and butted up against each other.
You really, unless you knew, you wouldn't know.
No,
it's a good
join. You sort of, as soon as you know it's there.
Yes.
You're there, but it's a good join.
Right, and this is what's happened is, this is off a Dino 246 GT, which didn't have power steering. I mean, a lot of, particularly sports cars, didn't have power steering. I'm trying to think when Porsche brought it in the 90s, I think, on the 993 generation of the 911. Or was it the earlier one, the 3.2? Anyway, it was only in the 70s, 80s, 90s that car manufacturers started to fit power steering in any great measure. And what happened was a lot of pressure was put on the steering wheel and the rack and etc. because of it. And that's why this is, in fact, you find it. Yeah. That's why that is actually broken. The steel is broken inside the hoop. And that's because somebody's been in a car park and it's just gone with metal fatigue or whatever. But I think these are normally done on a machine, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'm going to be doing them by hand, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tall order, that's what I'm saying.
And also, as much as the sewing looks black there, if I open it up, we'll see that it is actually white. It was white stitching there. Right. So we can see inside.
Yes.
Inside there. So we're going to be retrimming it, most probably.
Yeah.
I did mock up. I wanted to know if, my join, because obviously it's different leather. Everything changes as soon as you start changing the leather. And that's my join.
Wow. Where? There?
Yeah.
Good God. That is amazing.
Before I started taking it apart, I wanted to know that I could get that join to look as good as that. Really.
Right. How did you do that? It's right. It's not as if we're broadcasting this publicly. It's all fine.
There's calico underneath that. So, and then there's one piece of leather which is glued on, and then the other piece of leather which is glued on. and then that holds it in place. But it needs to be butted up.
Well,
Yeah, as close as
your butting up is absolutely peerless. That is quite extraordinary.
That one there. That's
That's actually 2 pieces of leather there. Wow. I think you stand a very good chance in making a success of that. I mean, I know steering wheels have been a bête noire of retrimmers over the years, and you can see, he says, you can see when somebody hasn't done a good job. It just looks a bit amateurish. But of course, you will do a superb job. The pressure's piling up.
yes, I know.
That is amazing, Craig. It really is. And I'm going to embarrass Craig now by saying that he is largely self-taught. You've just taught yourself on the sewing machine.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I am so blessed and so fortunate to have you here.
Thank you.
Doing what you do, really. So we'll move on and look at other projects, other things that are happening in the workshop. Well, here we have the Jaguar E-type that has been a long-term restoration, which is now within a hair's breadth of being finished. We've just been consulting the owner as to some last-minute decisions. The wheels, for example. A lot of people these days fit chrome wire wheels to cars that had wire wheels. They were the sort of darling of classic car restorers in the 1980s and beyond. But a lot of cars, Aston Martin, Jaguar, actually didn't have MGB, didn't have chrome wires as standard equipment. They had painted wire wheels. And there is now a school of thought that says that actually cars look better on painted wire wheels than they do on the chrome ones. The chrome ones can be a bit blingy. So there's a question, who likes chrome, who likes painted? Whereas chrome would have been the default option years ago, I've actually gone to the trouble of getting a heritage certificate from this, from the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust. And a lot of them had painted wheels on from new. And I happen to think they look very pretty with the painted wheels. But yeah. An endless discussion to be had there. We've finished this just about now. It's within a hair's breadth. Craig's fitted the soft top. We've repainted the hood frame in the correct colour. We are waiting for some final bits to finish the boot, the trim, etc. We've got a new rear number plate for it, and we've got a new stick-on front number plate. And then this car, we put the seats in. This car is going to be ready to rock and roll, and the owner should have this back very, very shortly, which will be great. It's high time. It took far too long with the metalwork we had to do to it, but the end result is we now have a matching numbers, beautiful E-type Jaguar with its original body shell, its original tub, and that is special. This is going to be quite the lovely car in the next week or two when it's all finished. I might even do a video on the finish of it because it's been a long job, this, but we've got there. Well, again, this has been a long-term project. Our Bentley S2 with the S3 converted front end, which was almost certainly done at the factory at Crewe in period. The S3 has the twin headlights like the later Silver Shadow. The S2 was the V8 engine car, but with the single headlights. Alex has been doing a lot of work on this restoration, and we're just treating the underneath to make it presentable. All the welding around here, all the structural welding, etc., has been finished. As you can see, Alex has trial fitted the front wings, which these lines on Rolls-Royce Silver Clouds and Bentley S series are very critical, and a lot of people get them wrong. You can tell, a bit like Mercedes 107 SLs, you can tell when they've had new front wings on them because they don't actually line up very well or perfectly, but this does. I mean, everything is absolutely beautiful. We'll build that up with a bit of lead as it would have been originally, but this is, all the profiles are absolutely lovely. We've got the car running. Alex has got all the engine running, etc. It's absolutely running beautifully now. In fact, we took it for a short test drive around the airfield here. It's actually driving beautifully. The automatic transmission is changing gear exactly as it should. So all the adjustments between the throttle linkage and the automatic transmission gear selection curve have all been adjusted up, and it's just absolutely lovely. This car is going to be so special when it's finished. It's going off to Ryan at Cheshire Prestige Paintworks, our paintwork partner, How many P's can you fit into a sentence? But it's going off to him to have the paint all done in its beautiful original colour scheme, which from memory I think is Georgian silver over shell grey, I think. But anyway, it's well on its way, this car. It's so satisfying when we get to this stage of the job. It's like restoring a house. You have so much hard slog where everything's a mess and looks awful. And then you turn a corner and the beauty starts to shine through, even in this condition. So this is a great place to be in this restoration. Very happy with the way this is coming on. Well, this is a 1977 Rolls-Royce Camargue, which was, I've done a video on the back suspension we had right from the word go. This is a paprika colour, which I think was specific only to Camargue. I mean, the Camargue was fearfully expensive when it was new. It was sort of, I think a Silver Shadow 2 was around £28,000 and a Camargue was 42,000, so it was 50% or thereabouts. More expensive than the next Rolls-Royce model down, or the base model Rolls-Royce, if you like, which the Silver Shadow 2 was most definitely a very serious base model. But Connolly's actually came up with a particular leather for this called Nuella, because Rolls-Royce wanted something super special. Nuella, it differs from other Vomol leathers like we were talking about with the Aston Martin, which is amongst, if not the finest automotive leather in the world. They took it to another level with Nuella, and this is actually hand dyed through. So the leather does not just have a surface of dye on it, like a spray dye or whatever. This is actually dyed all the way through, dyed from the inside to the outside, and that's why it is very expensive and very rare. And what we're going to do with this seat is in lovely condition, actually. It's still got a real lovely springiness to it. It's still got its original felt on the back. This has led a fairly easy life. So what we're going to do is submit these to Steve at Leather Care, who did a lovely job on the Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 3 convertible for us a while back. And this interior with a bit of sprucing up will come to life really well. Normally when people Connollize, they actually put far too much material on the leather, and it actually kills it. But Steve will bring this back to life beautifully. You can just see that unworn edge there, and it looks absolutely beautiful. This leather is still so soft and supple. It really is. So we're going to be doing that. Well, I've also had brought my Mercedes R230 500 SL 500 into the workshop, because it's got a couple of things which are annoying me. Just because a car is old and worth virtually nothing, as in the case of this, few £1,000s, doesn't mean to say it has to be, for me, it has to be pretty perfect. And I've noticed a couple of things driving it. We've been doing a few miles in this, going to Concours events around the country and things like this, because it's just a great touring car. It's got the fitted luggage behind the seats, even with the folding hard top down. It's still got plenty of space in the boot. It's just a really good all-round car. But the steering has got the slightest play in it in the straight ahead, well, actually in any position, but obviously you can just feel it on the motorway. And me being particular as I am, we've just been trying to chase this problem down, and it actually looks, we've tried the inner tie rods, we've tried the track rod ends, we've tried the UJ, we've tried the column, we've tried the pinch bolts, we've tried everything, and it looks like the problem is actually in the steering rack itself, which is very, very frustrating. So what do I do? Do I take the steering rack off and have it reconditioned? Do I leave it well alone and just try to ignore it? It's a tricky question, and I'm not sure I've got the answer really. I mean, if you started getting into the steering rack reconditioning, etc., you'd be in danger of writing the car off value-wise. So it really is tricky. The other thing is, when I drive over a bump, there's a sort of bouncing noise from underneath the car. It feels like the gearbox rear mounting is touching when you go over a bump and then down again, donk. But we checked the suspension. It's got the ABC suspension system on it, the automatic body control, which is the more complex R230 suspension, with it being the 500. The 350, the smaller one, had Airmatic, which was more reliable and less complex. So I'm hitting the buffers a bit with this. What do I do with it? Do I soldier on, or do I count my losses and just think about selling it or whatever? It's such a good car though. It's got so many things going for it, and it's in very good nick. It's got that lovely red leather interior. I spoke about this a while back on one of my videos. It's so much car, and I can leave it somewhere, and it's got no private registration on it. You know, if something happens to it, if it gets scratched, obviously I don't want that to happen, but it's not a major catastrophe. It's livable with and manageable in some way. So yeah, it's a difficult one. What do I do with this SL500? Do I leave the steering alone? Do I take the rack off and have it looked at? Delete as appropriate. What would you do? There's my question. Well, we have this car that's just arrived from the US, come in from the US. In the flesh, this is the most stunning colour of red, actually, I think I have ever seen on a Countach. This is not Rosso Siviglia, which is Seville red, which is their usual, that was the sort of red that Lamborghini used at the time, a little darker than the racing red. But there's something about this particular red. Obviously you can't see it on because digital cameras alter colours. But this is just the most fantastic colour. It really pops. Unfortunately, at the electrics, somebody's been at the electrics before it arrived. I don't know how long before it arrived. And they are utterly horrific. The amount of bad repairs that have been done on the electrics are frightening. I don't want to criticise anybody else's work, and that's why I'm being very minimalist in what I'm saying, but Pete's had to delve into this very deeply. Indeed, he spent days figuring out the wiring on this, and we're going to just take some footage of some of the wiring that's come out of it, which was surplus to requirements. But if anybody can get to the bottom of it, Pete can. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I'm extremely happy and fortunate to have the people here that are here. Pete's electrician skills are off the planet. They really are. So yeah, fantastic. So we'll be getting on with this. It'll be finished soon. We can give it a run and make sure it's behaving more like a Countach with some working lights and other little niceties. Yeah, this is our stock in trade, but this is particularly disappointing. But we'll get it sorted. We'll get to the bottom of it. It lives again. Well, that concludes another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop catch-up. Please subscribe. It is very important. It does help the algorithm. And we'll be back with something else very soon.